Hello children, my name is Michael, and today I will be talking to you about something that's very important, but gets taken for granted. A lot. It's something that you and I both use a lot throughout our day. Matter of fact, I guarantee you that you've used it today. Do you remember when you brushed your teeth this morning, or when you came to school on the bus, or even when you walked in and sanitized your hands? There is something incredibly remarkable about all those things that we take for granted, and that is what makes those things possible. The things that makes your toothbrush is the same thing that makes the tube for your toothpaste, which is the same stuff that gets put into the gasoline which makes the bus run, and the same stuff that also makes the Purell bottle which you wash your hands from. So what is this miracle, marvelous, magical, wonderful stuff that I'm talking about? Well, it's petroleum. Now you may be asking, Mr. Michael, what's petroleum? Well, I'm going to tell you. Petroleum is a type of oil that you don't cook with, but you mine out of the ground. It's made of all these tiny, tiny little molecules who really like each other and really want to be as close as possible. But some of them don't really like each other, and they try to distance themselves, and so humans sometimes help with that. So the petroleum, after it's mined, is sent to factories where humans use really kind of complex methods to separate the molecules. They separate them into the molecules that like each other the most, and keep the ones that don't like each other apart. Now these molecules are friends, and they do a lot together, but they can't do everything together. So that's why certain friends do certain things, while other friends do certain things with other friends. So you could say there are different types of friend groups, and certain friend groups do things that other friend groups don't do. For example, one may decide to go fuel a truck, while the other decides to make a Purell bottle. The individual molecules are called monomers. You can remember this because monomers is pronounced no-ma-ers. So there's no more. However, when their friends get together and link up, they make stuff kind of like they're having a party, except they're extremely productive. So you can call them a polymer. You can remember this because Polly always gets invited to the party. But there will be no party because we have an issue on our hands, kids. The very thing that we hold so dear to our hearts and use every day is in great danger. What do I mean by this? I mean that we've run out. This means that there's no more petroleum for cars, plastic, or soda bottles. I know this sounds pretty bad. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to finish that science project with Tony the Toad if we can't find more plastic bottles to put in his habitat. But it's worse than that, you see. Without petroleum, we wouldn't have the bus that drives us to school, we wouldn't have the doors that keeps your house safe in your home, and we wouldn't have the pipes that make your house work. By golly, we wouldn't even have a television to watch. And I know what you're thinking, this is bad, but there's an upside. We can't find any more petroleum on the earth, but we have a bunch of much nicer stuff that we can use instead. Remember that time you went to the farm with Mrs. Layman and you guys got to see all the nice animals? You remember the last animal you saw was before you had to leave? That's right, the chicken. And believe it or not, chicken can actually do a lot of cool stuff, but it can also double as a petroleum alternative. So not only does chicken taste good, but it can also help you survive in the modern world. Allow me to explain. You see, the chicken feathers have a lot of the same molecules as petroleum. And just as petroleum molecules, the chicken molecules also like to have friends. So when the chicken molecules have parties, which make polymers, they act just like petroleum and form plastics, just like petroleum, which is really cool because chickens are everywhere and can be remade. This is different than petroleum because petroleum is from dead dinosaurs, and there were only so many dead dinosaurs for us to collect. So now we need to collect chicken feathers. Chicken feathers are not perfect because not all friend groups can do everything that other friends group do. And chicken feathers, their friends just can't make fuel. They just can't. However, there's another thing on the earth that can. Soybeans! Now if you know a vegan or Miss Stewart, you know what a soybean is. But a couple of you may not, so let me explain. A soybean is a type of bean that comes from the ground and is used in a wide variety of Mediterranean as well as Eastern foods. That means that it's used for the world, and it's also grown all over the world. Now, when the molecules or monomers in the soybean get together, they have a party so they can make a polymer for fuel. So it's kind of like a fuel party. So there's another replacement for petroleum, but it can't do it alone. We need the combined use of chicken feathers and soybeans just to be able to break even in our society. You see, over the years before your parents were born, our society has become so needy and circled around petroleum that we need a lot of stuff to compensate for it. Now I know compensate is a big word, so let me break it down. What compensate means is to kind of make up for or supply what you don't have. So we don't have any more petroleum, so we need to find something that we can make our plastics and such. And we also need a replacement so that we can make fuel. You see, the chicken feathers can be used for the plastics, and the soybeans can be used for the fuel. Now, I know what you're saying. We would need a lot of chicken feathers and fuel to be able to replace the amount of petroleum that we use on a daily basis. Right, we would need enough to make sure that not only the USA has enough, but also that other countries have enough chicken feathers and soybeans to fuel and to make products. All their cars, factory, and whatever else needs fuel would need to use the supply. Now this could be hard, but I believe that your generation will be the one to figure out how to mass produce chicken feathers and soybeans. Doesn't it sound like a fun job? You could all be chicken and soybean farmers. That sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I was a soybean farmer instead of being a video dictator. But in the meantime, you have grown-ups to do that job for you. And one day you'll be smart enough to find a way how to do it more efficiently and better than they did, so that everyone in the world can be codependent. Now I'm sorry, I know that's another big word, so let me try to spell it out for you. Codependent means that everyone can kind of be friends, but still get enough work done. You know, kind of like how Timmy's in the back of the class right now not doing any work, just playing on his phone. Kind of like that, but Timmy would be part of the work and everyone would be helping to collaborate with each other. So I hope you guys learned about how soybeans and chicken feathers will become the new petroleum. And I hope you guys really learned what petroleum was, because it's a tough topic and it's a hard topic to explain, but I hope that one day you'll finally realize how important petroleum was and how important it is to be able to use chicken feathers and soybeans to be able to make up for the petroleum that we no longer have. And I also hope that maybe one day you guys find a way so that we don't have to use petroleum, or that we don't have to use chicken feathers or soybeans either. We find, like, the best possible way to make a fuel in plastic. I have faith in you. Live on, guys.